I used to believe our love could weather anything, that no matter the storms, we'd stand strong, side by side. But that night, as I stood frozen in place, dread slithered up my spine. What if I'd been wrong all along? Her words hung in the air like shards of glass, each one cutting deeper than the last. The world seemed to tilt. The ground shifted beneath my feet. Her eyes burned with conviction, not malice, not rage. She meant what she said. And that's what hurt the most. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. We had dreams. We had built a future in our minds. We promised forever, through gray hair and sunrises. But now those promises felt like dust, slipping through my fingers, scattering with every word. Weren't we happy? I asked myself. I replayed our memories, the joy, the laughter, the quiet nights wrapped in each other's arms. Had I imagined it all? Were those moments ever real? Or had I just been too blind to notice the cracks forming beneath the surface? She spoke of needing space, of feeling empty. The words were foreign, as if spoken in a language I could no longer understand. How could she feel unfulfilled when I had given her everything I had? Or had I missed something vital, something that pushed her into another man's arms? Each word she spoke felt like a blow. A physical ache formed in my chest, a sickness in my gut. I was gasping for air, barely able to comprehend what was happening. My wife, the woman I adored, wanted to be with someone else. The betrayal sank in slowly, agonizingly. How could she even consider this? What had I done to deserve it? It's not you, it's me, she muttered. The oldest cliché in the book. But there was no comfort in that tired phrase. If it wasn't me, then why did it feel like it was? Why did I feel like I was being torn apart? The doubt consumed me. Was there something I could have done differently? Could I have saved us if I had just tried harder? The trust we had built, the love we had nurtured, it was all slipping away before my eyes. And I was powerless. I felt like a fool. How had I not seen it coming? How could I have missed the signs? The shame burned through me, thick and relentless. Years of love, of shared lives and memories, all reduced to a cruel joke. I looked around our home, our life. The photos, the keepsakes, the inside jokes etched into furniture and routines. It all felt tainted now. My best friend, my partner, had just detonated our marriage, and I was left to sift through the wreckage alone. If you love someone, set them free, she said, her voice cracking. If it's meant to be, they'll come back. But what if she didn't? That thought paralyzed me. I argued. I begged. I pleaded. But her heart was already gone. Eventually, I gave in. Hollow and broken, I watched her leave, suitcase in hand, tears streaking her face. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. The silence that followed was unbearable. Every inch of our apartment reminded me of her, of what we had. Days became weeks. Time stretched painfully long. I tried to bury myself in work. Friends tried to help, but their words meant nothing. The thought of her with him was a constant, gnawing torment. I was angry, furious. How could she throw it all away? What happened to our vows? But from those ashes, something slowly began to stir. I started picking up the pieces, small pieces. I went to the gym. I changed my diet. I reached out to old friends. Every small act felt monumental. I was slowly climbing out of the pit. I jogged in the park. I meditated by the lake. I forced myself to live again. I poured myself into my work, into the hobbies I had long neglected. Photography, the one thing I loved before I loved her, came back to me. Looking through that lens reminded me how to see beauty again. Every snapshot was therapy. Every shutter click a heartbeat returning. I began to feel like myself again. Not the man she left, but someone newer, stronger, wiser. Then, just as life began to feel okay again, she came back. It was a quiet evening, the kind where the sky is soft and the wind barely breathes. I heard the knock and felt something twist inside me. She stood there, trembling, tears falling freely. I was wrong, she whispered. He wasn't you. Her voice cracked. Her shoulders sagged. Her eyes, once so full of light, were dim, pleading. She had chased something new, something she thought would make her happy, but all she found was emptiness. Now she was back, begging. "I made a mistake," she sobbed. "The biggest one of my life." She fell to her knees, broken. Her hands reached for me like a drowning person reaching for air. She clutched at her chest as though trying to hold her heart together. But mine had already shattered. And some wounds don't heal. Some betrayals stain too deep. I looked at her, really looked at her, and I remembered the pain, the months of silence, the torment, the image of her walking away while I fell apart. Forgiveness is a virtue, but forgetting is a lie. Some things can't be undone, and some people don't get to come back.